So, like you mentioned that you've been a salesperson before becoming a sales coach. So I understand in a lot of setups or in a lot of the companies, you may have been the only saleswoman in the team. So can you just throw some light on what your experience has been as the only saleswoman sometimes on the team?
Fortunately with me, that has not been the case. I have not worked in organizations where I have been the only saleswoman, but I understand where you're getting at. The representation of women in sales is very few. So if we have a team of 20, maybe 2 would be women, and that is probably the kind of environment or the culture where I have worked as a sales woman in sales. That number of women participating in sales have been less. So what is the question? How is it like being in a male-dominated...
What's it like being in this male-dominated profession? Because, like you said, being 2 out of 20.
You have to carve your own niche among them, because historically sales has been a very male-dominated thing. People used to think that it's an aggressive world. You have to be very aggressive, and there are long assumptions and probably some generalized thoughts or stereotyping certain roles. Sales is not like that. So you need to, when you're working as a woman in sales, you have to break those myths, those barriers that people have in their mind, and let them know that sales is very, very gender agnostic. It has nothing to do with being a man in sales, you are going to be more successful, and a woman in sales is going to face a lot of challenge. That's not the case actually. So you need to, so when you're working in an organization, you have to be a bit more, you have to also take that responsibility of educating everyone around you and making them start believing in you. So it starts with that, building your own credibility, then only it breaks that barrier, the mindset.
Question to you is, so this is a key question, okay. What are the underlying reasons behind why women are not opting for sales as a profession?
Why women are not opting for sales? Okay, interesting that you asked me this question, because most of the time the question is why organizations are not hiring women in sales. But your question is a little on the opposite side, why women are not opting for sales.
Okay, we'll get to the other one later.
All right, okay. So good that you asked this question. There are a lot of, as I said, it's a barrier in the mind, because historically sales has had a very bad name. Sales as a function, sales as a job, it has a bad name. People think sales is, you have to be a con star to be in sales. You probably have to lie a lot. You have to be very aggressive, to be very pushy, and people don't like that. But that's a very wrong notion of what sales or selling is, because people, that's how historically the selling was done. Now because that perception has stayed in the mind still, and we are, like myself and many of my peers who are in the sales coaching business now, we are all trying to educate everyone that sales is not like that. Sales is a very, very good profession to be in. It does not require you lying or pushing a client. You have to just be your authentic self and be transparent with the client, and the business happens. There are certain processes you have to follow. But because that perception has stayed in the mind, so women feel that it's a bad place to be. I don't want to be in that bad place. So it's the reason why women do not want to go in is because they think that it is a job where I'll have to be stay up late nights, I have to go a lot of, I have to travel a lot. Now we have to understand that as women we have a lot of roles and responsibilities, so the balancing becomes very important. And therefore those challenges come, then how am I going to balance? If I have to travel a lot, if I have to work till late night, how am I going to balance? But these are all myths. It doesn't happen in every job. So for me, for the 12 years of the corporate career, I was in banking sales. I didn't have to have very late nights, or I didn't have to travel a lot. So it's not that every sales job you have to travel a lot and there are late nights and you have to be very aggressive and pushy. No, it doesn't work that way. So probably it's a wrong notion, because of which they have developed this limiting barrier in their mind that I can't be in sales.
But isn't it true that, so the notion that we all have, okay, it is true for certain industries, because I don't think, at least from the observation that I've made, is that in specifically in telecommunications, where you are on your feet for most part of the day, you see very few women in that. So my point is that I think women may thrive in certain segments. The notion stands true for a few industries.
I would like to disagree with that, because there is nothing called as a man's job anymore. Women are women are fighter pilots. They are climbing mountains. They are driving trucks and trains. They are even in mining. They are in sports which were so far male dominated, like boxing and wrestling. So I don't think that's the case. It's a mindset issue. I'll again repeat, it's a mindset issue. If you believe you can do it, you can do it. If you believe I can't do it, you won't do it.
Fantastic. So my last and final question to Pratha is that how can women now in the corporate sector can differentiate themselves as sales leaders?
Anyone, how would any professional in a corporate sector differentiate themselves as a leader, right? So one is to identify your own strength, find that niche, carve out your own niche, work on your personal brand. I think most of the leaders, and especially women leaders, because you know that there is a misperception about being a woman in a leadership position. People have lots of thoughts. People, there would be biases, unconscious biases. You're aware of it. When you are aware of it, you should then do something on yourself about your personal brand, because I can't change the way people are going to think about me. I can't change other people's opinion, but I can influence other people's opinion about me. Influencing is possible. So work on yourself, work on your personal brand, build that credibility, carve out your niche in a way that you stand out, so that you're able to influence the other person's opinion, and they forget what they used to think as a preconceived notion or a judgment that they had. They're automatically removing that and looking at you the way you want them to look at you. So it's in your hand. It's not in anybody else's hand. Again, I will say, if you believe in yourself and if you believe that you can do it, you will be able to do it.